Hey, chat. Happy Halloween. Hope everybody's doing well. Yes, it's Halloween. So, yeah, here we are, guys. And yes, you are wondering what kind of hat this is. It is a panda bear hat. And if you go a little bit Anyways, hello, chat. Hope you guys are all doing well. Yes, this hat courtesy of the great J-Rock. Thank you again, J-Rock, for the hat. Want to welcome everybody to the Thursday night show. If you are new, my name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal, and this is the weekly Thursday night show. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Remember, we are, it's Halloween, but it's election. The election's bearing down on us. So, get ready for that. We got a couple of topics related to that, and very interesting things today. A big thing, as you see in the title, there were pleas in the YSL case this week, but today, Young Thug himself, Jeffrey Williams, pled out and got a hell of a deal. Let me tell you what. So we're going to go through that. I think it's going to be a very awesome night tonight, chat. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of fun things. And, oh, I forgot, we have a trick-or-treater with us. He's coming by to trick-or-treat. I think he's asking for some... He's asking for some memberships here, chat. He's asking for some memberships, chat. It's Chef Clyde. It's our boy Chef Clyde here. He's looking to cook up some great content, and he trick or treat. Give me some memberships. Well, he's such a good boy. He's a good sport. He's being a good sport for this, isn't he, chat? Oh, he's a good boy. He's looking at 2.0 like, why'd you do this to me? I'm such a good boy. I'm a good dog. Do you have anything you want to say, Clyde? What's that? Commit voter fraud. Clyde, you can't say that. You can't tell people to go commit voter fraud. That's not a good idea. Wait, what are you saying? There's no political solution? Clyde, no! No, Clyde, there is a political solution, chat. Okay. Oh, buddy, I think you went down. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's starting to pop out of this. Uh-oh. Yeah, I think he wants out. Okay. Sorry, Clyde. I'm going to put you down, buddy. Go find 2.0. Here. Do you want help? Let me take the hat off for you. There you go. He looks like a ghost a little bit. Oh, chat, we tried. Our boy did not like the... Yes, Chef Clyde, better than Chef Red Pill. Much better than Chef Red Pill. It's 2.0 she's feeling really good. She's doing good tonight, chat. She was tired. She had a long day. She's been working real hard lately, so she just took an early night. Kimbo says, how dare I stream while Jim is going? I know. I'm competing against, I'm pretty sure the casino's on tonight. Then I got Maddie, and then I got Mr. Medicare. Like, I'm like a white lady in hedonism too. Let me tell you what, just from all directions. Getting in my face. Whoo, lad. It's rough out there, guys. It's rough out there. Let me tell you what. Oh, anyways, guys, we try to give people a couple minutes to catch up because it's not always fast getting in here. YouTube doesn't always notify people. And once you're thinking, well, wait, if you're a normal viewer, shouldn't you just know to be here? I don't disagree, but you know what? People have important things to do, like cleaning the toe jam out of their feet. This might take second fiddle to that. I get that. So we are waiting for people to pile in, and I want to say hello to everybody out there. If you guys are out there, Rumble should be loaded up. I don't know why it's, hold on here. Why is Rumble, guys, let me know if Rumble's working, because this should be working now. Rumble should be up, chat. We are live on Rumble, Twitch. I know some of you are like, oh, who cares about Twitch? You know what? Maybe it'll work at some point. Twitch will blow it open. And am I now a furry? No, I am not a furry. Yes, I'm meant to be a panda. Oh, getting hot in this hat, though, so we're going to take it off now. We've had enough Halloweener excitement. Colostomy Bag saying, is Fry the Brain by John West a good book? Yeah, because it gives you ideas if you aren't really familiar with how some things were done and you didn't know like how certain tactics, techniques, and procedures were employed by various groups out history. It's pretty good. It's never a bad idea to Just that information you keep in the back of your head for a rainy day. Keep in the back of your head for a rainy day. But yes, we got people everywhere, but also, and last but not least, locals. I mean, guys that don't know what locals is, it's at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. And from there, guys, if you join us there, we talk about all kinds of things. It's a very fun time. And from there, guys, it is a very great thing. If you join us, it's free to join. It's just like Patreon. You could post on the wall. You could post things in the community. We comment back. I'll comment. And then we might put videos up, like we'll watch Formula One race together, like we live stream Mr. Medicare tonight. It's a fun time for us to normally sit there and hang out. And there are things we do that are a little more exclusive for people, and those are for our supporters. If you want to support me over on Rumble, guys, it's $3 a month. You pay for 10 months. You get 2 months free. One of the advantages of Rumble is they don't take a big cut like YouTube does. And more importantly, there's very few rules on Rumble. You just can't Fed post, really. That's the biggest thing, and no nudity. Other than that, all the topics you might want to do here, we couldn't get to. Well, guess what? We get to do them over on potentiallycriminal.locals.com. If you use the promo code POTCRIM, you get 1 month free access to everything. And that free access is to our live shows we do over there twice a week. We do one every Monday. Now, I will apologize. Last week, we had Sarah Boone going, and that was pretty important. I wanted to get that one done. And then this week, obviously, we had a bit of an issue getting that one going. But we'll be back on track for that this week here. We might do a live stream over the weekend. But we also do a live show every Thursday night. So after this one, we go hang out over on Locals. It's very much just, it's the after party. You get to hang out there. We have fun. We can talk about stuff we can't do here. All the things YouTube doesn't like. So join us there. We also run a live chat during the show, and you guys could post things over there that I can't talk about. I can only laugh at and react to over on here on YouTube. So that's over there, guys. I'd appreciate it. You stop by and take a look. But yes, I would recommend Fry the Brain. It's a lot of good stuff in there. Brian Steele. Well, we're going to get to Brian Steele. Don't you worry, Darcy. But yes. So, hope you guys are... Orani is saying, Mon Dieu, Twitch chat. Yes. Oh. Mitch says, do I have footage of myself planting the coke in Nick's house? Yes, it's on Detective Pomplin's body camera, as I stated. We both took our part in that. We were both like, how can we do this? And, Quinn looked at me. He's like, I got it. I got it, fat man. And then the plan was born. Now, before we need to get too far, chat, we do need to get our sponsors going and recognized. And the first one, obviously, is thedragonstreasure.com. Use the promo code criminal. You get 10% off your choices of teas, soaps, or coffee. Once again, guys, don't mix them up together. That would be a really awkward tea. It would be a very awful coffee. Although it might be a good soap. I mean, like it'd be a coffee-scented and tea-scented soap, but that would actually clean you. That probably wouldn't be bad. You just get all that gristly stuff and all your like little, crevices and cracks, and I don't know if that would be good. But otherwise, you could do it. I wouldn't recommend drinking the soap, but hey, a lot of us ate glue as children or lead paint if you're older, and you survived, so maybe you could drink the soap. I wouldn't recommend it, though. Promo code criminal, you get 10% off. And then next, we have mafarms.com, maf-arms.com. MAF Arms, ran by our, you know him, you love him, Fudbusters, Matt LaRosiere. Use the promo code POTCRIM. You get 10% off all your wind chimes and wind chime accessories. If you guys are looking at the Hitchhiker and its wind chime accessories and a kit, the Plastikoff wind chime accessories, the Tac Daddy wind chime accessories, your Mac 11 wind chimes, whatever your wind chiming needs are, they are available there. Florida's premier wind chime dealer. Like I said, the promo code POTCRIM, you get 10% off. And if you use that code tonight, if you make an order tonight, Matt will also send you a lewd. He has promised that. He made that promise to me tonight. He said, Sean, I don't want you to tell people. But I told him, Matt, we got to get the sales up. Matt will give you a very, very racy lewd if you order tonight. $100 or more. And he will send you a lewd. Kurt says, I was thinking of taking up heroin, but heroin is so passe. Yes. It's so blasé. It's so 90s. Yeah, we've all seen Rent. Nobody cares about heroin anymore. But anyways, Kurt, hello. Guys, Kurt over at Uncivil Law does a lot of great work over there. Guys, take a look. If you haven't had the chance to yet, I definitely would recommend him. Did really good coverage on the Sarah Boone trial. And obviously his Supreme Court review of things is just, phenomenal. Phenomenal. Good work, Kurt. Thank you for being here, man. Good. Thank you for being here. Let's see here. Pot Crim is a good code. Yes. I like it. And then last but not least, chat, Stoney's Bar and Grill out in Rockville, Minnesota, the great thriving metropolis of Rockville, Minnesota, at 158 East Broadway Street, out there in Rockville, Minnesota. Stoney's is the place to be. Guys, it is $2 cans. It's Thursday. Get on out there. It's a nice night. I mean, here in Ohio, it's in the 70s. The weather's got to be good out there. They're still open, chat. It's Thursday night. They're open till midnight. It's only 8:45. Get on out there and have a party. Sorry, but you did miss Tuesday. So if you're looking for Naked Twister, Aaron is not there tonight to MC it. I'm sure if you message him privately, he might arrange a private thing for you. But if you guys come out on Tuesday nights, rain or shine, sleet or snow, Aaron will be out there doing Naked Twister. It's something that they've been promising. They will keep going through the winter because of popular demand. But Stoney's will have its Halloween happy hour. Will be from 4 to 7. And on Friday, chat, $2 cans from 4 to 8. And it's the Halloween party with prizes for first, second, and third place. And that's at Stoney's Bar and Grill, chat. It is never a bad time when you're at Stoney's. And just don't tell him Aaron sent you. Tell him I sent you. All right. Foley says new DMs leak. Okay. Oh, I didn't see that, so I don't know the answer to that, so I'm gonna leave that one be for right now. And who just texted me? Oh, Sherrod Brown. No, I'm not giving you money. Suffer, Sherrod Brown. Yes, you can check out the back room after hours. I take a good sense of the prize is Baldo baskets. I don't know, Chad. I didn't get that far. Into it. Debbie, we are going to get to that because that is a funny thing that happened with Google, and they got their fine they got. So I will answer that one shortly. Okay, so we are going to get started here, chat. It's time to roll. It's time to rock and roll, chat. Let's get these super chats going. Debbie O gifted 10 sobs. Thank you, Debbie. Clyde appreciates the trick or treat. And that's a shame for 1999. Thank you. It says, my compliments to the chef. Yes, he is the goodest boy and the cutest chef around. Yeah, good boy. Ag Biochemist says, Chef Clyde is better than Chef Knows. Don't disagree. Hangman 420, been a member for 2 months, says, thanks for the gift memberships. Happy Halloween. Well, you're welcome. And whoever granted that one to him, I assume was from Debbie. Thank you again, Debbie, for your support and your generosity. And No Mayo says, happy Halloween. Thanks for the heads up on the hemp treats. I mellowed on my pug earlier to pull a tick off. And the ham sandwich mafia. Ham sandwiches are not good sandwiches, chat. Ham is not very good. And as far as the hemp treats, chat, I don't get paid for this, but these good, and they need to get bought. These are Nature Vet quiet hemp treats for your dog. They also have some allergy allergy ones, like act like a little bit of an antihistamine. But these are great. Your dog's all freaked out in the weather. They're just spazzing. Give them a couple of these, and they work pretty freaking good, I will tell you. We use them all the time. So, all right, so I guess we'll start off with Google. Google got sentenced, they got fined by Russia. And it's funny because people are making fun of what Russia did to them, but they get fined all the time. They get fined by the U.S. government. They get fined by the EU. They get fined all the time. Microsoft gets fined all the time. It happens to big tech. Well, Russia went a little overboard here, and so Russia decided to fine Google more money than there is in the entire world. Yes, they pulled the Futurama and bid $1 gajillion. And I don't know if anybody told them this isn't a real number. I mean, it's a real number, but it's literally impossible. So this is from the BBC. Not that one, chat. Not that one. No, I know what you're thinking. Not that BBC. The actual news service. So a Russian court fined Google more than 2 undecillion rubles. And undecillion is a word. And it's funny because Google is actually a numerical value as well. If you didn't know that. I remember learning that as a kid. Google is a numerical value. I don't think it's spelled the same way, but Google is a numerical value. So a 2 followed by 36 zeros for restricting Russian state media channels on YouTube. So in dollar terms, that means they have been told to pay 20. There you go. That much. Okay, so that's more than the true $1 trillion Google is worth. Although if it's 2 undecillion rubles, I mean, the ruble's worth shit. So, it's far greater than the world's total GDP, was estimated by the International Monetary Fund to be $110 trillion. Now, the reason why the fine is big is because it's rapidly increasing all the time. It just keeps going. It keeps compounding. They keep doing it. So they're pushing and punishing. And it's funny because one of the Kremlin spokesmen says, I can't pronounce this number, but Google needs to pay attention. It's like, I'm sure that's how that's going to work here. I'm sure that's how it's going to work. Oh. Okay, and Joe Smo over on Rumble says, Rumble is working, but I'm ditching you for Legal Mindset in a bit. Well, I mean, what can you do? And he says a Google, Googol, that's how you spell it, is 10 to the 100th power. Thank you, Joe Schmo. So, the fine relates to the restriction of content on 17 Russian media channels. And yes, as part of the restrictions and sanctions on the Russian government and Russian entities as a result of their stepping up what they're doing in Ukraine, that has done a lot to it there. So many of these Russian media outlets are banned in Europe, and as a result of sanctions, even here in America, Russian entities have been suffering because of that. So it's very funny. I don't know if it's going to get any better anytime soon. But they talk about in July 2022, and this is after the invasion of Ukraine. It fined Russia 21 billion rubles for failing to restrict access to what it called prohibited material about the war in Ukraine and other content. So obviously, they were allowing pro-Ukrainian information and pro-Western and NATO information to be accessible, and they weren't stopping it per the Russian government's demands, which is funny because when the Chinese government says do something, Google's like, yes, boss, I'll do it. Very funny still. Interesting. Yes, there's virtually no press freedom in Russia, 100%. With independent news outlets and freedom of expression severely curtailed. That's very true as well. Yes, it's very, very true. But yes, that you can see $1 quadrillion. And Debbie says, that's the story in the Russia fine here. Will Google still do business in Russia, or what's the bottom line of the fine? Well, the fine is basically, that's the nature of the fine. So is Google ever going to go back to doing business in Russia? Yes. And do I think if once the war is over and all that, will Google go back? Sure. And I think Google and Russia will probably reach an agreement, and some oligarch or Russian government official is going to get his, they'll grease his skids a little bit and, put a little money in someone's pocket. And I'm sure everything will be okay. I mean, that is how things work in Eastern Europe. That's how you do it. Really, that's how you do it in the rest of the world. You just can't do it here in America. So I think that's probably what's going to happen if I had to guess. Is just, a little grease in the skids, never hurt anybody. And, no big deal. No big deal. So that's what I think we're looking at there. But yeah, for now, it's all part of the, it's part of the game right now with the whole the Russo-Ukrainian war, which is going to probably drag on forever at this rate. And then we have Kat, but Kat, not Williams. Guys, if you have not been following Kat, she's been doing great work covering the YSL trial. She's had some really good, Kat has had some really good people on. If you guys don't know, Kat has had on people, so for example, some of the YSL attorneys themselves, she's had them on stream. Doug Weinstein's one of them. He's the attorney for Yak Gotti. She's had on Kayla Bumpus. She's the attorney for Lil Woody. Lil Woody's the guy who refused to testify and got sent to jail and started the whole ex parte thing off. She's had Lil Woody on. She's had other people on there like Infamous Sylvia. I believe she's even had Thugger Daily, or that was Nick Starro, I forget. But her and Nick Starro, actually, I'll include them both. These guys have been doing phenomenal coverage of the YSL trial. So, guys, if you haven't seen Kat, give her a look. She's got her channel over here on YouTube. And why is it not loading? I pulled it up. I tried to pull it up here. Hold on, Kat. Anyways, guys, this is Kat over here. Kat, not Williams, and you can see her over here on YouTube. This is her YouTube channel. So give her a shout. Take a look at it. Pretty good stuff over there. So once again, Kat, thank you though with the 20 memberships. Let's go, chat. We're about that tonight. I guess we're about that action tonight, boss. So let's keep it going. This is some good stuff. I thank you very much for that. Thank you for the support. Thanks for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. And I know anybody out there who's getting these memberships certainly appreciates it as well. And then Richard Gruber for $5 with his, ever timeless drum magazine says, re-up my locals, but I got to be up at 5 a.m., so I'm catching the replay at work. Well, thank you for your support. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks for the locals. Thanks. Yeah, be part of the replay crew. Never a bad idea. Sleep well, Prince, my prince. Sleep well. Hope you have a nice day at work. Kurt, you're saying I'd like to see these text messages as well. Yeah, I understand. That's like Kurt's like, wait, what? What's happening? Okay. Eric says you can sell sandals to an Eskimo. I hope so. I try. And then Adam Watson just gifted 20 subs. He's like, Kat, I can't let you be by yourself up there, up on the hill. Clyde came for trick or treat, so here comes the treats. No tricks, because we're not pulling those kind of tricks or a pickle surprise. Gifted 20 subs. Adam, thank you so for your support and your generosity. Then Johan's like, I could do better. He's like, I got 10. Well, thank you, Johan. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the generosity with 10 more. Just making it happen here, guys. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So we got the Google thing out of the way. Let's get to some real stories here. Like I said, that was kind of a funny one. More money than the world has to offer. We got a Nick Rekieta update. I covered this earlier this week, chat, but we're going to get to this. I think you guys, if you guys haven't seen it, we're going to blow through this real quick. But Nick is, if you guys remember, he had his Frank's motions. He was challenging the search warrant under the Supreme Court holding in Delaware Franks versus Delaware, alleging that the police department had either lied or grossly and basically negligently relied on some wildly inaccurate information they should have done their due diligence on when they put their search warrant together. And because of that, the search warrant should have been dismissed. One of the big things was the video, the infamous video where Nick is sitting there. If you guys remember Nick from Rekieta Law, the infamous is known as the Coke Stream. He disappeared off stream for quite a while and came back on, a little powdery nose and, basically acted like a drunk guy who had just snorted a line of cocaine. The police then got a search warrant. They raided his house. the next day, and they found 26 grams of cocaine, and the rest is history. So he is challenging that. He lost. The court said, nope, your arguments aren't good. They fail. And all arguments you forget to raise, we're not hearing anymore. So it's all over. Well, Nick is, I'd argue, pretty much basically doubling down. And this is what doubling down looks like. And this is a petition for discretionary review. So basically, this is also known as an interlocutory appeal. This is not one granted as of right, meaning he does not entitled to this. But he is asking for the Minnesota Court of Appeals to say, hey, guys, will you give me the opportunity to argue my case? So that's why it's a petition for discretionary review. The Court of Appeals could look at this and go, no, we're not going to look at it. Now, they might say, deal with your case and then appeal it later. And that's an option for Nick. The problem is, if Nick were to plea, you generally lose your rights to appeal. If he goes to trial, that's how you preserve your appellate rights. So, for example, if you had suppression motions and motions in limine and all kinds of motions before a trial happens, and you go to trial, well, you preserve those motions, you preserve your objections, and then you could challenge all of it. If you happen to go to trial, and if you don't go to trial and you enter a plea, you're kind of screwed at that point because you've entered a plea. That's it. There is no more for you to get. So why did the YouTube chat just die on me? That was kind of weird. And not in the funny way either. Huh. That was weird. So anyways, guys, this is the, sorry about that. That was weird. Anyways, this is a petition for discretionary review. Once again, it's Nick's attorneys through the White Law Firm against the Kandiyohi County Prosecutor's Office. And as they're going here, they're still asking, once again, they request the court to exercise its discretion to review the order of the district court and request this honorable court grant this petition for discretionary review. So if this happens, chat, and I think I still have my whiteboard here, there's a couple ways this can go for Nick. Yes, it's still here. All right, good. We still got this. All right. So here's how this works for Nick. And we're going to bring this up to full. So Nick is attempting to, he filed his motion and it got denied. So he filed a motion, it got denied. Now he's going up to the appeal. Now the appeals court could say one of two things. The appeals court could say, no, we're not going to grant your appeal. We're not going to let you do that. And then Nick's stuck with the trial. And then he's got to figure out what he's going to do. The appeals court could say yes. And that means then that Nick gets his hearing. And then from there, the judge could say, and this is all he wants, is to have his Frank's hearing. That doesn't mean he's going to win it. And we have an issue for Nick because Judge Wenzel, who's already heard his case, has already said, no, there is no Frank's issue. So even if you get the hearing, the court's going to say, I've already looked at your evidence, denied. So this idea is very weird to me that you're going to make this argument because you're going to lose it. The trial court doesn't think you have a case. And what I will ultimately tell you is I don't see the appellate court saying anything else either. Ooh, we got some wind. Appearance by the drapes there for a second. So the Frank's issue, guys, and if I didn't make it clear, Frank's issue is the allegations that the warrant is based upon false information that's materially false or information that was recklessly relied upon that is clearly inaccurate and no reasonable person would rely on it. And they never did any due diligence to check it. So that is the issue for Nick with that. It's not going to go anywhere. I don't think I think this is really just a waste of time. I mean, certainly this is going to drag things out for like a month or so because right now the prosecutor has to respond and the Court of Appeals is going to look at it. And then they're going to say no. And then Nick is left with dealing with his settlement hearing and plea hearing at the end of November. Zero says, don't appeals have ridiculously low chances of success? Pretty much. And even worse is an interlocutory appeal, an appeal in the middle of your case. But yes, they will be granted at times. You might be on a daring and novel issue. There are times where it'll happen. There's Supreme Court case law where, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment issues have been interlocutory appealed straight up. Another famous interlocutory appeal is the Trump versus United States one, the presidential immunity. Granted the immunity, that's actually a pretty big deal. We have to figure that out. You can't just undo immunity if you rule one way or another. But that was an interlocutory appeal, and it went straight up the chain to the Supreme Court. So they do happen, but this isn't really that novel of an issue. And as we see here, and just real quick, if you guys have not seen this, I covered it earlier this week. Basically, their arguments are, once again, that Detective Pomplin knowingly and willfully deceived and misled the signing judge on his application for a search warrant. And they go through the whole, they lied about the child neglect, and that Children's Services had sent a letter saying, this doesn't meet the definition of child abuse and neglect under Minnesota law. They didn't inform of that. They bring up the issues by Aaron Imholt from the Steel Toe Morning Show, that Aaron wasn't a concerned citizen, and that they had more than a mere falling out, which, once again, the issues here, as I said before in the Frank's motion, is Nick's attorneys did a very awful job of articulating facts, so there is nothing for them to go on. They just say, well, that's not true. Okay, but what's the truth? You never specify what's true. They talk about Aaron and Nick, having their little lovers quarrel. And then ultimately the final thing is the video, the infamous video, which was showing cocaine on Nick's nose. And this goes back to the whole nonsense of, was the video taken off Nick's webpage? And is it the original or it's not the original? And they go on and on about the original video being on YouTube, and that this could be a potential Brady violation because that means they should have gone to Google. And if they did, they never provided that video to Nick. And if you guys don't understand the whole original video thing, basically Nick's argument is, if you go to the movie theater and you watch Wolverine versus Deadpool, you have not actually watched, you could say you've watched a copy of Wolverine versus Deadpool, because the original Wolverine versus Deadpool itself, the original movie, you watched a copy of it. Wolverine versus Deadpool means the original one, and the original one's somewhere in the vault of Marvel Studios. So you've never actually watched Wolverine and Deadpool. You've watched a copy. That's Nick's argument. I shit you not. That's his argument. That's his argument. And Nick's argument is that the police lied. I don't really know how they lied, but he says they did. And that's their argument. It's going to crash and burn. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens from there. So that kind of addresses the RQ, the Rekieta question, as it's known. Oh, chat. It's just goofy sometimes. Goofy sometimes. And why is that not working here? Okay, so from here, we have some election news, and I think this is important to get it going now because it does cover some bigger election concerns and things that are going on. And one of them is this kid down in Florida, and this is don't do shit like this, guys, please. It's not funny. Like, it's hilarious, but you end up getting in trouble. It's hilarious. What was I typing? I can't tell you. So what happens here? So the Florida teenager accused of using a machete to intimidate voters at a polling station. So what happened? And so there we go. So a Florida teenager got arrested for approaching multiple voters outside a polling place with a machete, police say. Now, what exactly does it mean? Well, 2 women called and said he allegedly brandished the weapon against them at a polling station. No, you could brandish it a bunch of different ways. You could be holding it over your shoulder, but why are you at a polling station with a goddamn machete? Are there snakes attacking, or are there like native tribesmen who are coming out of the woods? Like, the Zulu going like Zulu and attacking with spears. Why are you at a polling place with a machete, brother? That doesn't work. The authorities say he stood in the parking lot and was posing in pictures with the machete, and a bunch of other kids were hanging out with him, and they were all chanting for Trump, which, okay, I'd argue kind of based. And we do have some pictures of it. Well, they are something, I will say that much. These pictures are something fierce. So this is from the Neptune Beach Police Department. They have kind of pretty base names down in Florida for some of their places. This is him. Oh yeah, I'm sure he's having fun in jail right now. People are eating his trays all the time. And this is him wandering so it's not even like a little knife, guys. That's a kind of a big fucking machete. Like, why are you dicking around with that? I mean, oh my God, them guys in the pod are gonna love them braces on him. He's gonna have a fun time. Hope he didn't watch the Joker. But that's actually a pretty big machete. That's a pretty big machete. So, yeah, you guys, that's, don't be an idiot. Yeah, I mean, is that the same one? Yeah, it looks like the same one. That's a big enough machete. I could see people getting concerned. Like, why are you fucking around with it? Why are you fucking around with it? So, no real point to doing that. So, apparently, the investigation revealed the group arrived to protest and antagonize the opposing side. Well, so here's what that means. One of two things. Him and his other dumb fuck friends, one of them got scared and cried and probably told them. Or number two, they probably went on Facebook or his Insta or whatever else you have out there that he's got, his Snapchat, who knows, and they probably saw him talking about fucking around with this. Remember, this is a tattle machine. And guess what he did? He tattled on himself. I guarantee you. He tattled on himself. So, he was the only adult in the group, was the only one arrested, and that happens. When you're 17, 18, if you're the adult, guess what happens, man? You're getting hooked. Don't do stupid shit, chat. So, he got charged with assault on a person over 65 years of age and improper exhibition of a firearm or dangerous weapon. Now, the other individuals didn't get charged because they probably only had one machete. And yes, he's going to have a tough time arguing this is a First Amendment right. Because why is he out there wandering around with a machete outside a polling station? Like, that's time, place, manner restrictions, chat. You're not allowed to be outside those with weapons. Any number of things, like there's going to be clear and your intent is probably discernible. And there probably is video of them like laughing as they're fucking with people. Or they made it clear, oh my God, we're going to fucking scare these people. Who really knows for sure? But it sounds like they have some sort of evidence regarding that. So don't be a dumb fuck, chat. Don't document your crimes. Do not document your crimes.
Nigga, is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? What the fuck is you thinking, man?
Very, 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 very true. Very true. Why is this? All right. So with that being said, guys, we got some things we got to cover here real quick. We got through that. We got Adam Wata gifting 5 more subs. Adam, thank you. Thank you very much for your generosity. Then Mystery Sniper coming off the top rope with 50 chat, 50 memberships. Thank you very much, Mystery Sniper. Clyde appreciates the trick-or-treating. Clyde, do you want to come here, buddy? Yeah, he already took his entire costume off. He's running around now. He's just going to he's a dog for Halloween. So, thank you, Mystery Sniper. I appreciate your support, but also your generosity. Thank you so very much. Syndicate says, what impact can Nick have on, and this is going back to Nick's case, what impact can Nick Rekieta have on Aaron Imholt's revenge porn case by continuing to jump into Aaron's stream chats? I mean, if you're running around telling the police or the prosecutors, oh my God, this guy's harassing us and terrorizing us, running around harassing and terrorizing that guy kind of makes your claim look disingenuous. And this is just general. This is legal advice, chat. If you are the family member of someone who's the victim of a crime, don't go out and fuck with the other guy. It's not going to end well. And, you might get arrested. Or, you know what the prosecutor might do? And say, I ain't got time for this shit. You guys are acting like scumbags. I'm fucking throwing this out. Or we're pleading this down really hard because you compromised the case in some way. Don't fuck with things. Let the process run itself out. I highly encourage that. Debbie O gifted 10 sobs. Thank you, Debbie. And Kat's like, you know what? 5 more. Thank you, Kat, for 5 more. I appreciate your guys' support and your generosity. Harris Riley says, for Nick's case, if Nick won, wouldn't he be getting in trouble for deleting the original video? So destroying evidence. It hasn't been deleted. It's only been privated. So Nick has privated it on his YouTube page, which means it's just unavailable. So it's still there. Now, if I was the prosecutor, you could, issue a subpoena for it or a search warrant to get onto his YouTube account and get it out. I mean, there's a way you can subpoena Nick for it because he's admitted he's got. I mean, it's really fucking stupid to admit you've got critical evidence in your possession as a criminal defendant, but yeah, you might be able to get it that way. And then the future Mrs. Martin 2.0 gifting 20 sobs. Thanks, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you very much for the support and your generosity, baby. Always supporting me. Very, always supporting. Oh, you gotta love that chat. Where is... Oh, okay, that's why I can't do it. I've gifted all my memberships away. That's what I thought. And then Kaleidocope says, what gives is why do you hate ham? I don't really know. It's like I'll eat it if it's it's Christmas and we're having ham. Okay, so we're having ham and au gratin potatoes or ham and broccoli. You get a little, and there's like a little sauce for the ham. Okay, I can kind of eat ham, but I just don't like, I'm at, you're filling out Instacart, you go to the grocery store, you're like, ooh, I want ham. No, I just know. And like bologna, pastrami, roast beef, turkey, whatever, everything but ham. It's just ham's not my jam. Also, what does ham have to do with an indictment? Well, there is a saying you can indict a ham sandwich, meaning, why would you indict a ham sandwich? You can say, ladies and gentlemen, the ham sandwich committed a crime. And there's nobody there to contest it. It's literally, that's how easy it is to get an indictment. You could indict a ham sandwich. So, that's what that's about. All right, here, chat. So, yeah, I know, big stories. Very, very cool. Much interesting. There is an update in the Richard Allen case. Speaking of other criminal cases right now, Richard Allen, you guys remember he's the guy out in Delphi, Indiana, who's been accused of murdering the 2 girls back in 2017 as part of the cold case. It has been covered phenomenally by Andrea Burkhart and Bob Mata over at Defense Diaries. I know Attorney Lee has been involved in covering it too. We tried to work things out with Bob last week. I don't know if we might be able to do things coming up here. I know Bob's been real busy. Bob is a really good guy over at Defense Diaries podcast. The state has rested their case today. So the defense picks up tomorrow and they go on Saturdays for a day and a half. Might be able to get a hold, trying to see if I can get a hold of Bob or Andrea soon, because they both have mountains of information and insight, which I think is really shedding light on how things are going in the trial. And despite the corruption of Judge Gall and the shitbaggery of the prosecution and the local police, it looks like the state's case really sucks. They're doing a shitty job at presenting it. And Richard Allen's attorneys are doing a great job at battling back, despite the incompetence of Judge Gall and the prosecution. So, the defense had their first witness today. I thought it started tomorrow. So, Logical Bystander says the green onslaught just keeps going. Well, here's the thing you don't get. This is a green chat. Grays keep moving. We try to genocide the Grays as much as possible. We try to trans everybody into green. It's the only transing we do here. So that is the plan. That is the plan. Oh, your Jets fans chanting "sell the team." Oh, that sucks. Well, hey, it's the Jets, Jets. They get what they deserve. I feel no pity for them. Maddie's saying the Jets lost a touchdown because they dropped the ball on purpose running into the end zone. Oof, that sucks. That sucks. All right, chat. So moving on from there, we are going into some of the more things relating to well, actually, this isn't really this goes back to 2020. So if you guys remember, many of the attorneys who were part of the Georgia RICO indictment, Fani Willis putting after Donald Trump, former President Trump, and all of his people, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, and a bunch of people involved in that. That's the thing where Ashley Merchant put Fani Willis up on the stand and got her to basically admit she took her boyfriend, Nathan Wade, and paid for everything for him and basically stole like $1 million from the county funds. Well, in that case, a couple of Trump's former attorneys, including Jenna Ellis, all pled out. Now, this goes back to the idea of, and if you guys remember at the time when I brought this up, if you think these people were the participants and architects of a massive attempt to do some sort of fascist coup against the United States of America and defraud the people of Georgia, why would you offer them basically a plea with diversion attached, with no requirement they testify or cooperate? And in fact, will be able to complete their sentences and get these records sealed and expunged within a year or two. Doesn't make much sense unless you're admitting you really don't have a case. Well, it's kind of like the Young Thug trial when you think about it, but we'll get to Young Thug in a minute. Well, one of those attorneys was Kenneth Chesbro. Yes, and one of those attorneys was Kenneth Chesbro. And Kenneth Chesbro did plea out as part of everything that happened down in Hotlanta. Well, because of that, it takes a little while, but he has been suffering. And this is just, I think, just to show you, chat. It takes a while, but you are penalized for your conduct you commit in other states as an attorney. So in this case, it's the state of New York. It's the appellate division. And this means it's the intermediate court. So it's the intermediate appellate court. And they entered this today. And it's a matter of Kenneth John Chesbro, an attorney. And when you see the in re or in the matter of an attorney, it's usually a discipline action. And there's a couple of different judges that were in front of this. So, and it looks like in New York, it's a 5-judge panel because you have the presiding judge, you have this judge, this judge, this judge, this judge, and that judge. And actually, it looks like 6. So anyways, they go forward and they discuss what they did. And part of the involvement was the grievance committee for the judicial department, and that is in charge of the governing attorneys. And then Chesbro had his own attorneys, which is never a bad idea. Many attorneys do this. They retain their own counsel because there are attorneys who specialize in handling this stuff. So anyways, the story behind Kenneth Chesbro, he was admitted to practice law in 2007, and he's been admitted to practice law in Massachusetts, California, Texas, Florida, and Illinois. In 2023, he was indicted along with former President Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and 16 other co-defendants in Fulton County, Georgia, for the 2020 presidential election that occurred. So, while he was indicted on 7 counts, he pled guilty to only 1 count, count 15 of the indictment, specifically conspiracy to commit filing false documents, which, as of the time, it's a felony in that jurisdiction in Georgia. So is that specifically a crime in New York? Well, passing false documents. It could be considered forgery. I'm not sure what it is, but at least another state considered it a felony. And notice filing false documents, that's going to be considered a crime of honesty. Oh, it's showing ads. Guys, I'm sorry, the ad thing. That's from what I can tell. I didn't turn that on. I think YouTube's got that going. I tried to figure out how to turn it off, so sorry about that. And I'm also sorry it's a Kamal ad. My bad. I'm so sorry. So from there, it is a filing false documents. So it's a crime of honesty and it's a crime of moral turpitude at that point. So they moved for an order to strike his name from the roll of attorneys due to his felony conviction, or impose discipline on him as a consequence of a serious crime, which a felony is a serious crime. Any felony is serious. So they go through the history of what happens here and that the co-conspirators and things that were going on. And what did they actually do? Well, they had placed in the mail, the United States mail, a document addressed to the chief judge of the Northern District of Georgia. And they were trying to do some things, and they tried to file and record a document titled Certificate of Votes for the 2020 electors from Georgia. So it's one of the elector slates, and he was involved in that. So during his plea hearing, the Fulton County District Attorneys, once again, guys, Fannie Willis's team, they recited what had been shown in their case in chief against Chesbro. And they said the information would be the basis. And they said that Chesbro was asked, he said, I'm pleading guilty today because he agreed there's a factual basis that supports the remaining charge. And they asked him, and he said, yes, this charge. And he said, yes, I'm agreeing to pleading to this. So he was sentenced and pursuant to the Georgia's First Offender Act to 5 years of probation, restitution of $5,000, 100 hours of community service, and had to write an apology letter to the citizens of Georgia. He was required to testify truthfully at all hearings or trials involving his co-defendants. But we don't know if that's ever going to happen at this rate, because remember, this is Fannie's A-team, and Young Thug was a disaster. And he cannot talk to witnesses, co-defendants, or media entities until all cases have been resolved. Now, the funny part is, and I saw this before, but I forgot to save it. His 1 sentence apology letter was provided by the Attorney Grievance Council in its motion papers. It states he apologizes to the citizens of the state of Georgia and of Fulton County for his involvement in count 15. So that's kind of a based apology. Like, if you're going to apologize, you're just like, yeah, done. And you're like, 1 sentence done. Like, holy shit. That is pretty rough. That's pretty rough. That's chat. I don't ever recommend that, because it doesn't, you're basically saying, I don't give a fuck. And it's like, should you really say that? Like, it kind of looks bad. Anyway, no, your 1 sentence apology. But what happens from there? Well, they talk about more things that go on here, and that you may seek discipline for an attorney following their conviction of a crime, and it's for a felony either committed inside New York or outside New York that would constitute a felony if committed in the state. So it brings up concerns about his competence to practice law. So they are allowed to do that, and even if it's not a felony, any crimes which include false swearing, misrepresentation, fraud, deceit, or an attempt for that, or solicitation of another, is a big deal. So that's why, like, shoplifting could get you in trouble as an attorney. If you get arrested and you give them a false name, providing false information, falsification, that can get you in trouble, because now you're misrepresenting, you're doing fraud, you're doing deceit. And that's not good. Now, they have to determine whether or not it constitutes a felony. It doesn't need to be a mirror image of New York felonies. There must be a similarity. So they go through all of this and they try to figure out which crime would work here. And they go through all of this, and they argue that it's similar to New York having a Class E felony. And New York has this weird, they have classes of felonies, then like numbered felonies within the classes of offering a false statement for filing in the first degree. They point out, though, that the grievance counsel is wrong because the flaw with the argument, however, is that he pled guilty to an anticipatory conspiracy offense rather than the crime. So they're like, well, what do we do with this? They also point out that he didn't personally present the documents. So this idea is, yeah, he was in a conspiracy to do something, but he didn't do it. He's not necessarily aware that it had taken place. So it's ultimately been attributed to 3 other people. So which felony is it? And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now you might say, well, he could be an accessory. And they say, we decline to apply the principles of accessorial liability as a means of determining that he engaged in conduct constituting offering a false instrument. Now, they also point out that in New York, that even if you were offering a false instrument for filing, under New York penal law, it also contains an element that you have to possess an intent to defraud, which is absent from the Georgia one. So what do you do here? Well, they're pointing out that it's hard for them to figure out, is this actually a felony here? Because they're struggling. And they keep going back and forth here. And they point out that, look, this state has consciously distinguished the offering of false document for filing into felony and misdemeanor crimes, each with differing levels of intent. So they say, based on this, the Georgia crime is not essentially similar to the New York felony filings. And they say, despite this, we conclude a plain reading of the statutes demonstrates that Chesbro his conduct categorically meets the definition of a serious crime in this state. They said, moreover, even if Chesbro had not pled guilty to a felony in Georgia, his plea would nonetheless constitute a serious crime because it's a conspiracy to commit a crime, which includes a necessary element of, once again, chat, this is what makes it serious for attorneys: misrepresentation, fraud, or deceit. That's the critical ones. It's an honesty offense. It's a crime of dishonesty. So they must determine whether he has been convicted, and they determine that he ends up being convicted as far as there are things done there. So they conclude that he's been convicted because he's been sentenced to a term of probation and he's been sanctioned, and that would be equivalent to being convicted under New York law. Because when you're on probation, you've already gone through the ringer and you've been sentenced. So they go through all of this and they figure out what are they going to do for him. And they keep going for quite a bit here. Now, he could still be disciplined in the state of Georgia because he was acting pro hoc vice in Georgia. But that doesn't appear to have happened. So they're not deferring there. So, but Chesbro tried to argue, well, wait, Georgia has not done anything there, so please leave me alone. Well, they said that, yeah, that's not how that works. We have the ability to do what we want. In our view, it's no moment that he may ultimately be exonerated under Georgia law, because he's saying under the first offender law, I could get this wiped out. They also say it's equally plausible he may violate the terms of probation and be subjected to additional penalties. So what does that mean for him? Well, they're like, we're not worried about this. We're not going to buy this argument. You committed a serious crime. Kimbo says you can't be considered dishonest if you always lie. Well, that's a... Oh, that's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it. So what did they do? Well, they determined that the motion from the Attorney Grievance Committee is granted in part and denied in part. So the respondent's conviction to commit false filings constitutes a serious crime. Remember, because it's a dishonesty crime. And pursuant, he is suspended from the practice of law effective immediately until further order of this court. And he's further ordered to show cause at a time and manner determined by this court, why a final order of suspension, censure, or removal should not be made pursuant to the judiciary laws. So he's done for now, and he's going to have to explain why it shouldn't be permanent. For now, he's suspended. But that suspension could become permanent. Or he could get censured. Or he could get removed. Or he could be suspended for a little while longer. We don't know. We don't know. He might end up like John Eastman out in California and get nuked. We don't really know yet. So because of that, he is forbidden and he has to desist and refrain from the practice of law of any form in the state of New York, either as an agent, clerk, or employee of another. And that's how they get you. Even though you're suspended, you could go, well, I could work for my friend who's a lawyer. Nope, can't do that. They aren't going to let you. So you're not allowed to work as a clerk and employee of another attorney. You're forbidden to appear as an attorney or a counselor at law before any court, judge, justice, or board, or commission, or any public authority, giving another an opinion on the law or any advice about the law, or hold yourself out as an attorney or counselor of law, because then it's the unauthorized practice of law. So, yeah. So for right now, he's suspended. But it does go to show you that you will be held responsible for conduct you make outside of your jurisdiction. So it's always there. It's always important. Cosmo says, who's this about? This is about Kenneth Chesbro, one of the Trump attorneys that pled out in Georgia, finally got suspended by his home state. So they will go after you for that. And they will punish you. And I just thought it was interesting because they went back and forth on. They're like, but it's not a real crime. Is it a crime that counts? Well, kind of, maybe. But it didn't matter because it wasn't a felony, because it was a crime of dishonesty. You were lying and cheating. Although technically he didn't do the lying and cheating. He still agreed that I helped these people lie and cheat. So it's a conspiracy. Other news regarding, well, Trump. And this one, this is just kind of crazy. Trump is suing CBS. It's really kind of nonsense. I don't know how it's going to go, but he's suing him for $10 billion. And I'm going to go over the lawsuit at some point. It's 20 pages long, but it's oh my gosh, chat. It's nonsense. So what's actually happening? Well, Trump is suing CBS for $10 billion. Billion. Oh, yes. And he's suing him. Look at him, the grizzled veteran up on stage, ready for another campaign. So he filed a lawsuit alleging they engaged in election interference by doctoring a 60 Minutes interview. And he says that they are seeking $10 billion in damages for partisan and unlawful acts of election and voter interference. And they were intended to tipping the scales towards Democrats. Yeah, I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but what actually is the issue? So during Kamala Harris's interview that she gave with CBS, there are two different versions in response to the issues in Israel with Hamas in the Gaza Strip and now up in southern Lebanon. With their deals with Hamas and then Hezbollah, and it's all just kind of falling apart, chat. So as they said, they papered over Kamala's word salad, and they did deceitful and deceptive manipulation in news. Well, they always do that. Now, how is this going to work? I don't see how this thing is going to work at all for Trump. But, yeah, I get it. Yes, fuck CBS, fuck the mainstream news. Couldn't happen to nicer people. I just don't see how this works out for Trump at the end of the day. I just don't see how this works out. There's no way this is gonna work. It's just, yeah. I mean, Angela, you're right. Pretty much, this is a yawn. Yawn. There's nothing here. Call him by his full title, you heathen. Former President Donald J. Trump. But there's just nothing there. It's oh yes, Lithium Mike is saying it's not about the money. It's about sending a message. It's not really sending a message. It's CBS. If it was like BuzzFeed or somebody he could bankrupt into oblivion, sure. But CBS, this is gonna get summarily dismissed. This is gonna get tossed. I don't see how he has standing. I don't see how this is failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. I just don't see how this works, chat. I glanced at the lawsuit today a little bit. It's just I don't. I think it'd be hilarious if Trump could collect $10 billion, but he's talking about, just fleeing the citizens. It's not like, oh, hey, you screwed me over. So I don't see how I just don't see what he gets out of it. Now, obviously, he can't go for injunctive relief or anything because it's, too late for any of that. Yeah, it's kind of goofy. It's kind of goofy. But CBS did the Bush-Tang memo. Yeah, the Air National Guard memos. Yes, they did. They have a history of that. That is what Dan Rather's downfall was, where the doctored Air National Guard records of George W. Bush. Dan Rather's like, you see him on Twitter. He's like, I'm a serious journalist. It's like, you publish bullshit, dude. So, yeah, he's out there. Well, that's what's going to happen there with Trump. I'll take a look at this, guys. If we can cover it over the weekend, I'll do a video on it because it just ain't no way it's going to work. As much as we'd love to see it happen, ain't no way it's going to work. Yeah, just it's the nature of the beast. The nature of the beast. Okay, so we got a couple more things here catching up real quick. The amateur and bad weather biker, I think I got you before, but give it 5 subs. Thank you. The amateur iconoclast dropping 5 more subs. He's like, I'll raise you 5. Then Ag Biochemist says, damn, Jebba. Thank you. Drew K says, remember chat? Advertisers deserve nothing. Ad block and sponsor block. Yes. Stephen Cooper says, only nerds the hard R. Nerds. Only nerds don't have YouTube Premium. Drew K says, only queers pay for the privilege to not be advertised at. Yes, Chad, are you going to cuck yourself out of reading ads? Are you going to be the Chad and be advertised to consume? Oh, I love that you guys are going back. Tridio for $5. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Says, why is Halloween Nick's favorite holiday? Because he gets a chicken skins candy for drugs. Or in the case of his 9-year-old, checker drugs for candy. Oh, no. Oh, wow. Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Brimstone brings up over in the locals chat. Did I see that Steven Crowder lost his lawsuit against Not Gay Jared? Yes, I did. And that was funny because that happened so secretly. But yes, apparently he owes Not Gay Jared like $80,000 in attorney's fees and stuff. I'm going to try to see if I can get a hold of those documents because those will be hilarious to read. Because, yeah, Crowder got BTFO'd. And then Cedar Rose. Cedar Rose comes in and gifts 1 membership. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that. And who got that? Oh, the Mockeries was gifted a membership by Cedar Rose. Nice. Well, thank you for your support and your generosity. Very, very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. And where is... Hold on here. So, guys, moving on, we have a we have an interesting issue going to the ongoing struggles of Tiffany Henyard. Yes, the super mayor of Dalton, Illinois. If you guys remember her, she's the mayor for the city of Dalton, Illinois. We've watched a couple of the city council meetings with her. If you guys remember her, she's the mayor outside of Chicago, who's basically robbed the city blind and is famous for turning everything into a racial issue. And I'll hold on here, guys, because if you don't know, if you guys don't remember Tiffany Henyard, this is her right here. This is her. And this is her arguing with people. And this is a good example of her.
False narratives out there, and y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. All the stuff that y'all did to get people to come to our community, to just diss and down our community. Shame on y'all. Because when I want to attack and take any of y'all seats, I run. I run for the seat. I don't do smear campaigns. I don't do all this.
Listen to her. She's like, when I want to, I'll take y'all seats. And this is the entire city council. And most of them are just fed up with her. And I think back when this happened, this guy has since been indicted. This guy here, the assistant police chief, has been one of the police chiefs has been indicted federally. So these two guys have federal indictments. A bunch of these people are probably going to get federally indicted as well. So yeah, it's a very interesting situation there. You guys have never heard of her. That's her thing. But with that said, Tiffany has gone off the skids even more. She has, and it's to the point where like everybody is against her. And it really doesn't, she is getting to the point where she's really starting to spiral. She is threatening her, opponents now with arrest, and it's getting crazy. It's getting a little crazy, chat. Anyways, here you go.
Charged.
Okay, guys, we do not have a quorum, so we will not be having a board meeting this evening.
One of Tiffany Henyard's allies resigned. Another has turned on her and refused to attend last night's Thornton Township meeting. It's a similar.
And that's the thing, too, chat. She's not only the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, but she's also the supervisor, meaning the head official of a township. And she's basically used their credit cards, run up like $40,000 Amazon bills, and she's now threatening to go after people officially.
Story in the village of Dalton, where a majority of trustees oppose the self-proclaimed super mayor.
Because all this point the finger to Tiffany or allow me, I'm over it. Now it's time for me to speak.
Henyard spent an hour and a half on Facebook Live.
And she does have Facebook, guys. She also had a YouTube channel for a bit where she was trying to do like a show that she was going to be doing all kinds of stuff, and she is threatening to go after people. So, she's just basically pissed all their money away for these two towns, and they're going to be bankrupt. Even Lori Lightfoot, the corrupt mayor of Chicago, was like, this bitch is corrupt. So, and yes, I believe it's the part where she starts threatening people.
Further, claiming without evidence, her opponents are corrupt.
I will be seeking arrests for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges. It's a lot. And that's just me telling you a little bit.
As Henyard.
Now, I will tell you guys, she looks a lot more haggard and a lot more old than she did before. I think she knows, as people would say, like, the bombshells are closing in on Trump. I think Mayor Henyard, it's getting a little rough out there for her. Yes, Beetlejuice is perpetually shocked. Yes. Yes. Is this the one where she drives around in a limo or something? Yeah. Yeah. Baseball Worldwide, thank you for being here. I think you're a new face. Yes. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a knife. Is she simultaneously 20 and 50? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how she does that. You know what they say, though? Black don't crack. Black don't crack. But I don't know why it's doing that. I'll try to fix it. didn't turn them on. So I apologize. But yes, it is only getting worse for her. It should be a lot funner. A lot more fun for her as it happens. Angela says it sure doesn't. So yes, eventually she will get indicted. I know some of you are thinking, well, why isn't that woman indicted yet? Well, it just hasn't happened. It just hasn't happened yet, chat, but we'll get there at some point. Kim Jong-poon says she's the one who says allegations. Yes. You don't out Democrats without consequences. Yes. Yes, very true. Panda milk. Hopefully that's female panda milk and not male panda milk. I'm just saying. Oh, Christopher Hoodoo says, don't hate on my ghetto queen. Yes. Yeah, she's been previously arrested for car burglary. Yeah. Frosty Chaos says, it looks like I dipped my chin in the Rekieta stash. Why? It's nice and white. Nice and white. Jabble Dunn says, hey, Boomer, you're still running mid-rolls on YouTube. I don't know why it's doing that. I'll figure out how to shut that off because it started doing that like yesterday. So I'm like, I don't know why it's doing that now. So Tiffany needs to be an arborist. Jeez. We're going to leave that one alone. Kaleidoscope, though, instead of leaving that one alone, he's like, well, instead of Tiffany Henard, she can't get these. He's giving away 10 subs, 10 memberships, chat. Giving those away. Thank you, Kaleidoscope. I appreciate your support and your generosity. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Benjamin Lewis says, I like your nerd costume, Sean. Yes. I hope you got it. I hope you got it. Well, yeah, and see, like other people are saying they haven't gotten ads, and Kat saying I haven't gotten an ad. I'm not sure. The internet best friend. But is it really your best friend if they're on the internet? I don't know. Can we hit it, chat? God bless the goal. Yeah, Nick Kreuzer saying they're forcibly turning ads on, even inserting mid-rolls into users' video feeds. Jeez. Well, you've gotten 3 so far. I'm sorry, man. That sucks. Sorry, Sola. So anyways, guys, we're moving on from there. We've got that done. We got that done. Where are we on to now? Yes, Lord Miles Rutledge. If you guys remember Lord Miles, he is the young British lad who went to Afghanistan and hung out with the Taliban and kind of got made a guest at the Taliban for a little while. He's made a guest at the Taliban. So he was there for quite a while, but since then he's gone all over the world, gone on to crazier and crazier adventures. He's been back to Afghanistan since he was detained there. But yes, he has been banned from Canada for 5 years on terrorism charges for being friends with the Taliban. And it's not illegal anywhere else. Well, I'd argue you probably have, I'm surprised America doesn't flag you for coming in. But he says, I'm framing this and hanging on the wall. And yes, he points out that earlier I had been in Canada and I have no criminal record in the UK. But this is a artifact of, and this is the issue of, if you play stupid games, you might win a stupid prize. And as much as it's hilarious that he went to Afghanistan, countries may not like that. It's the same reason why if you go to Israel and you go to Arab nations, like if you go to Saudi Arabia and you have an Israeli passport stamp, you're going to have a bad day. They will investigate you. They don't like that. If you went to Iran with an Israel passport stamp, you're going to have a really bad day. So it's just something to think about. If you're an American and you go to Russia, you're probably going to have a bad day. So just be careful about where you go and what you do, because countries do have the inherent right to protect their borders. That is something sovereigns, whether it's the sovereign has always had the right to protect his borders. When that sovereign was the king and now it's a sovereign government, they have the right to protect their borders, and having a defined border and being part of a nation state, that goes back to the Treaty of Westphalia in 1648. Think then the 30 Years' War, the basis of modern international law. You're thinking, wow, that goes back really that far. Yeah, it kind of does. So The idea Canada can kick him out, well, yeah, they have every right to. You know, it's funny, though, because they probably let in all kinds of refugees who have been involved with ISIS and the Taliban, and they're like, oh, yeah, come on in. No, water's fine. So they tell him he no longer meets the requirements for electronic travel authorization, and he can no longer hold a valid authorization. So you should not travel to Canada by air, as you may experience delays or be prevented from boarding your flight or entering Canada. So you will remain inadmissible for a 5-year period from the date of this letter or from the date a previous order was enforced. So this all here, these are all probably private things he didn't want to show us. But yes, his real name is Miles Arthur Levesque. I think how you say it, Rutledge. He is, yes, very fancy name. So I just thought this was funny, a little bit of a mad lad getting in trouble, but there are real world consequences for being a mad lad out there. There are, yes, Adolphus Chads represent, yes. So, Sean, Canada gives Terry citizenship. Yes, they do. So, Lord Miles got a dub. Canada got an L. Yes. Pimp Poppy says, this isn't a stupid game. It's an achievement. Yes. But you have to be careful. This could lead to problems. I mean, for example, if you were in the U.S., all it takes is a U.S. attorney thinking, oh, you were giving material support to the Taliban or to a terrorist organization. While these things can be fun, they can also be really bad. Or we talked about this before I did a video on it, like if you're Larry Vickers, you do some things, you work with somebody violating sanctions with Russia or Iran. There's a lot of ways doing this stuff, while it seems cheeky and fun, can get really bad. So be very careful with what you do. It's just, you make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know what you're doing, chat. That's all I'm trying to say. You should be very careful about it. You should be very, very careful. Now, as far as people who were very, very careful, the YSL trial, the Young Thug trial, the YSL, the Young Slime Life record label, Young Stoner Life, whatever you want to call it, the Slats. That trial has been ongoing. We are at day 154 today. Yes, day 154 of a trial that started the 3rd day of January. Remember, it was 11 months of jury selection prior to that. Well, this week we have seen multiple parties plea out and enter pleas. Remember when the trial started, the trial we've been watching, it was kind of the 6 bigger guys involved in YSL. Obviously, you had Young Thug, you had Yak Gotti, Rodalius Ryan, Shannon Stillwell, Marquavius Huey, and Quavius Nichols. The 6 of them. Well, at this point, Quavius Huey and Quavius Nichols and Marquavius Huey pled out. And then today, we also saw Rodalius Ryan pled out. This all came from the aftermath of the incompetence of the prosecution for entering in inadmissible evidence, things that were going to cause a mistrial. So we're now to the point of some people are refusing to take a plea at all. So Yak Gotti, he's refusing to take a plea. And then Shannon Stillwell, one of the other parties involved, is refusing to take a plea. Well, who's the third guy left? Well, that third guy left is Young Thug. And Young Thug, Jeffrey Williams himself, entered a plea today. And he entered a plea to a couple of counts. Remember, guys, this is a RICO case. This is a RICO case claiming the YSL gang, the YSL record label, is actually a gang. And all these people are doing music. It's actually just a cover for their gang. And this gang was involved in murders, drug dealing, racketeering, extortion, prostitution, human trafficking, you name it, robberies, everything they were doing as a gang, as a street gang in Atlanta, in the greater Atlanta area. And Fannie Willis's team went after them. So we saw this, and this case has been going on forever. Well, multiple parties, these guys have been entering pleas. Now, why are they doing it? Well, I mean, these guys have been in jail for over 700 days at least. Many of them have been in for quite a while. And it takes a lot. You know, people want to say, like, oh, I've been, you know, I wouldn't plea. You're in jail for 700 days, man. And this is dragging on. And anytime you're getting close to something, you're losing. You know, oh, well, we're going to get rid of Judge Glanville. Okay, well, we ended up with judges who are still refusing to do anything. Judge Whitaker is refusing to declare a mistrial. It's just turning into a disaster every time they go and do something. So what do you do with that? Well, at this point, you've got the mistrial, and the judge really got mad. We covered this. The judge got very, 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 very pissed off. Well, we ended up with some very interesting information with Young Thug today, and there was a plea. Now, this is what happened, and we'll go through the plea, and we're going to go through the plea form itself. And this is from Infamous Sylvia, so if you guys want to give her a shout out, it's actually very good. She does a great job. She's a great job covering this. You know, it's not only dragging on, but you're paying lawyers every day. Yeah. Yes, but I mean, if you've got family, your kids haven't been able to see you for over 2 years. And if you lose, guess what happens, man? You ain't ever seeing them again. Like, this stuff ain't good, guys. This is pretty rough. This is pretty rough. It's not good stuff. It gets really crappy. So just something to think about. It's something really important to think about. A lot of people take pleas for multiple reasons. Like your kids, like, Daddy, I want to see you again. Can you come home? That's rough. You know, and just being there, it breaks you. And these guys are locked up in the Fulton County Jail. And the Fulton County Jail is very dangerous. People die there all the time. It's one of the shittier jails in the country that, you know, all kinds of horrible stuff happens. You got to be stuck there. You know, so you can't, I'd argue you can't really blame people for wanting to plea out. You can't. You can't. And I will say that for some of the other parties involved, the interesting thing is everybody who's pled out so far has not pled to the murders. The state has been dropping charges left and right. A couple of the guys, I believe, Rodalius Ryan got 7 years that he's got to go serve. And then he's going to get out. So he's going to have to go serve some more time. And these guys are getting a little bit more time they have to deal with. But nobody's being forced to plead to the murder. But there are things they're being forced to plead to. And obviously one of them is the RICO charge. Ag says Sticks, Hex, and Hammer thinks the New Orleans jail is the worst. Yeah, that's... Yeah, I could say I don't think so based on what I know. I don't... Yeah, nobody... It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Street Sniper can't answer that question. Anyway, what do we have here? This is the plea document. J-Rock says Terabas is just Fulton County and Clayton County. Well, it's a lot of counties. So what did Young Thug actually plead to? Well, this is something all the guys have had to plead to. And we get down to what actually they ended up pleading with. So we got a felony with probation. And that's a spoiler, chat. Young Thug got probation ultimately. He is getting out. It was a non-negotiated plea. And here's the thing. The prosecution told Young Thug, if you testify against Shannon Stillwell and Yak Gotti, we'll let you out right now, and we aren't going to hang time over your head. Sounds like a pretty good deal. Young Thug said he ain't doing that, and he refused. And he refused to cooperate with a bunch of their terms, so they ended up taking a plea, and they went to Judge Whitaker and made their arguments, and then Young Thug and his attorney made their arguments. And Young Thug's attorneys did a great job. Brian Steele and Keith Adams did a phenomenal job at protecting their client. So what happened? What did Judge Whitaker ultimately do? And we're going to go show you what he did. He pled guilty, or he pled no contest. I'm sorry. No contest to the conspiracy to violate the RICO Act. So he pled no contest, no lo contendere. He was sentenced to 20 years, meaning he has to serve 5 years, and he was commuted to time served. And then he has the balance of the 15 years is probated. Okay. He also pled no contest to the unlawful for a person who occupies a position running a street gang. He pled no contest, meaning he's not saying that he did it. He's not going to contest he's not contesting the allegations. So he's got 5 years to serve that got tacked on consecutive to count one. He then got involved with unlawful conduct in a street gang and the similar sentence to count one, and it's time served concurrent with count one. Violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, same thing. He got very much just like count one. Violation of a drug case, again, 5 years to serve. Violation of the Drug Act, 5 years to serve. And he's getting commuted because time served. He served a lot of time so far. And possession of a knife during the commission of a firearm, and this, I believe, was a machine gun offense, 5 years to serve backloaded. It's consecutive to count 56. So he's got a lot of time hanging over his head, but he's got 15 years of probation, chat. And in that 15 years of probation, he's got some interesting terms. These are very, very interesting terms. So he is to do 100 hours of community service a year. You're like, okay, well, that's not a big deal. And you're like, yeah, you know what? Somebody like him, he could probably handle 100 hours of community service a year. That's not that big a deal. But what are some of the other things he's going to have to do? Well, what else he's going to have to do is he can't have any contact with other YSL members except for his brother and Gunna, who's a member of YSL, who apparently is a snitch, because he's contractually obligated to work with him. Now, his brother is his brother, so she can't force him not to do it. He cannot promote gang activity on social media, so he's probably not going to be allowed to do it. Not got to be careful what he sings about. He's not going to be allowed to do hand signs. He's not going to be allowed to wear colors. He can't go repping the set, as it were. He can't have contact with the victims. He's allowed to have no firearms, except he's allowed to have armed security. He is allowed to travel for business. He's keeping his passport. And part of that is he has a house out in California. And because of that, he has been excluded from coming to the metro Atlanta area for 10 years. Basically, he has a 10-year exile from the Atlanta area. And if you guys don't understand, that's a big fucking area. Now, he could come back for funerals, weddings, if a family member's sick and dying, stuff like that. But that's it. He has to get notice he's coming back into town. But he's been exiled. He's literally exiled. And this is something apparently you could do under the Georgia Constitution. Now, I will say when I used to work as a prosecutor, the old judge in the one county I was in, he used to make a term of probation. You're not allowed to stay the fuck out of my county. He would say, you're banned from entering this county. Don't ever come back unless your PO calls you. And you routinely, that would happen. That's not like in most states, that's not legal. But he's banned from the Atlanta metropolitan area, which if you guys have never seen it, this is a rough map of it. It's all these counties. And if you aren't aware, this is Fulton County. That's where Atlanta is. But you got Cobb County. We've heard these names before. There's Gwinnett, DeKalb, all these counties. And you notice that, the gray parts are not part of the metropolitan area. But what's it look like on an actual map? Like, where is this in terms of Atlanta? Here it is in terms of Atlanta, chat. Look at that. Look how fucking big that is. Look how big this is. The greater Atlanta metropolitan area, she says, and the judge said, as defined by the U.S. Census. This is the state of Georgia. Okay, chat? Look at all that he can't go to. This right here this is Mordor, basically. Because I'm a nerd, we're going to use a Tolkien reference. He can't go anywhere in here, basically, without permission and advance notice. And here's the thing. You're like, well, that means you go to the rest of Georgia. I think most people who live in Georgia say, like, there ain't really nothing here. This is all nothing. So look at how big that area is. But he lives in L.A. He's got a house in L.A., so he's getting out. But yeah, that's one of the terms. I mean, think about that. J-Rock, I'm doxing. Yes, I just highlighted your house, J-Rock. No. Oh, so Everett says, how do they let Atlanta swallow that up? It's just a city grew, man. It's the 6th largest metropolitan area in America. Yeah. Oh, and Darcy, apparently, one of the judges that people watch here on YouTube says, don't come back to Fulton County unless for court. Don't stop for gas in my county, which, like I said, you can't do that here in Ohio, but apparently judges used to do that all the time. I love my maps. Well, that depending on that. Maps belong on walls. J-Rock says it's a great state. I mean, it's okay. It's not Ohio, but it's not bad. Linux user says, are we supposed to be sad about some ghetto trash getting screwed over in life? Well, I mean, I think you should be concerned that the state of Georgia put on a dog shit case and basically kind of bullied this guy into taking a plea. That's the bigger issue here. That Fannie Willis in her corrupt office, these guys caused mistrial after mistrial and it was never granted. Like, it was a horrible fucking case. That was the big problem. That's the problem I have ultimately with this. That's the problem here. And we did get to see through this here, Brian Steele did give a press conference, and I do think it's actually it's actually very interesting to see. So I think it's worth listening to. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, but I do think we should listen to a little bit of it. So guys, if you aren't aware, this is Brian Steele, the guy who was threatened with jail time. And then on next to him is Keith Adams, his co-counsel. They were very, very good there. Davell says, wait, does a no contest plea protect you from the feds? Depending on the situation and depending on the crime, it can. Because it's not a guilty plea, but you end up pleading no contest, you end up being found guilty, though. So you've got bigger problems at that point. So here we go. Here's Brian Steele and his co-counsel. It's funny because the ghetto bird's flying above and they're downtown Atlanta, so he's waiting for the helicopter to fly by.
All right, if y'all don't mind talking us through the decision to make a plea and just how today ended up going and transpiring.
Well, this was excruciating because hopefully, in our collective opinion, Jeffrey would have been found not guilty of everything. So this is very painful. But that's another 3 months or so in custody.
I can't fix the volume.
And he wants to go home to his family. And negotiations totally broke down with the district attorney's office. Horribly broke down. And at that point, we believe that justice would be. And
it's funny, if you guys notice in the background, one of the Young Thug's family members has a Courtney Kramer. That's the Republican challenger for Fannie Willis. His hat on in the background. That's very funny. But as you can see, they thought they could win. They probably told Thug, they were a great case. We'll get an acquittal. But you got to sit in jail for like another 90 to 100 days. That's not easy. And his family wanted him home. That happens all the time, guys. My family, I got to take care of my family. They need me. It's a very common plea reason.
Be found with the honorable court. And Jeffrey just wanted to go home. How agonizing it is to know that we've spent a year trying a case where the prosecutors have put on lies, knowing lies, hiding evidence, is insane in 2024 in the United States of America. And the only reason that this got revealed is because of you people. You people brought the truth to the community because nobody knows this. This is not the only courtroom it's happening in. And I just want to thank all of you. I especially want to thank Jeffrey for letting me represent him. I think he's a wonderful person who does wonderful things and will continue to do things even greater. I cannot express to you how Shaquille Kokomo, how Trisha Renard, how Haley, how my wife Colette, how Bram, how countless people, but especially Miss Courtney Edwards, has worked without sleep for 3 years representing Jeffrey and helping him. I will never be able to stand with anyone more ethical, honest, hardworking, insightful, intelligent, and kind than the Honorable Keith Adams. The gentleman to my left is the best lawyer in the country.
And I mean, that's impressive. Brian Steele is, I think, ever humble. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's whether or not that's genuine or not, I'm assuming it is. That's still, these two attorneys right here, and both these guys kicked fucking ass at that trial. He kind of does like Ike Fauci a little bit. Yes. Nick says, after the Steele went home and swam in his money. Okay, yes, he probably did do that too. They were amazing. So, I'm going to tell Brian about Sean when I see him again, but certainly tell him about Nick. Well, J-Rock, if you see him, let me know. I'd love to give him an interview. And guys, remember, this is the same attorney, Brian Steele, when, he said, take me to jail. And then Keith Adams said, you know what? Take me to jail too. I'm just as in trouble as he is, Judge. Fuck you too. I should be in jail. And called him out. So both these guys are they're awesome. These guys are both awesome about it. So,
cheated in good faith at all during any of these negotiations?
Let me take this one.
So basically, they're asking, did the prosecution negotiate in good faith? And no, it doesn't sound like they did. But it's funny because even the judge admitted and noticed, you guys are letting them do no contest. You're dropping the murder case. Nobody's probably going to end up being convicted of this fucking murder. And yeah, the prosecutors are looking like fucking idiots.
Let me answer that. The short answer is no. This is a case that possibly could have been resolved if folks were reasonable. But we did not believe that we could enter into good faith negotiations with people who wanted a case resolved in a manner simply to save face. And Jeffrey Williams was not going to say things that they wrote for him, that they wanted him to say, that was their theory when it wasn't true. And so, good faith, no. I don't believe we were ever really negotiating in good faith. And you've been here the past year that this case has been on trial. You've seen the numerous motions for mistrial. You've seen the behavior of the state. You've seen the dishonesty. You've seen everything being hidden. You've seen things come out in court in front of you. And so you know what kind of prosecution we were dealing with. And that's okay. Mr. Steele and I have fought through this the past 2.5 years. And as he said, we ultimately decided we were going to put our faith in the court as opposed to the folks on the other side of the aisle. And, the best thing out of all of this is that Jeffrey Williams, in a very short period of time, will be home. And that's all we've wanted from May 9th, when they went and picked him up and have held him in jail without a bond for the past 2.5 years. He'll be home shortly.
Keith and Brian, this either one of you can answer that. 2 questions for you. First off, you go into it blind, really, you don't know.
So ultimately, Young Thug could have got nuked. And that was the thing. They put a lot of faith in Judge Whitaker. I was waiting for her to fuck him over because she's been a disgusting judge without any fucking integrity. She refused to do anything about the ex parte hearings, and she refused to declare a mistrial. So I give her credit for finally showing a spine and doing the right thing, but I didn't think it was going to happen. Now, at this point, there are 2 guys left, Yak Gotti and Shannon Stillwell. Yak Gotti's represented by Doug Weinstein. You have seen him on Kat's show. You've seen him on with Nick Starro. And then the other Shannon Stillwell is represented by Max Shart. And those 2 guys have been like when it hasn't been Brian Steele and Keith Adams going at it, those are the 2 guys that have been fucking going toe to toe with the prosecutor and tearing their shit up. So it's going to be good. This trial is still ongoing, guys. Don't forget about them. If you follow it on Twitter, don't forget about it. You know, keep making sure the world knows these two guys are refusing to take a plea, are, you know, challenging the state. Make sure people know what's going on there. I'm going to do my part about it, but make sure people know how fucked up this is. You know, don't let it slack. Don't let it stop. So, yeah, just don't let them stop. Yes, after forward, yes, the judge tried to make the judge assistant district attorney Love tried to make him plead guilty on all counts instead of a NOLO, and the judge like, I ain't doing that. And it's funny because the judge learned their pleas, like they'd almost worked it out, and they were willing to let everything go. Which he said, if you're willing to let everything go, I'm going to accept a plea to lesser things. So that was how that went. I think it's very good. I think, you know, good luck for both of them. Yes. Yes. And Queen Slime Cat. Yes. Yes. Cat in the Cat in the AM. And yes, Angela's right. The Twitter account Thugger Daily is still doing a great job. He's going to keep covering things, as I hope he does, because the war is not over yet. It's going to keep going. So Edward Scott says it's not a conspiracy. DAs do all sorts of crooked shit right before an election. They've been doing this since like jury selection. They've been hiding evidence and hiding discovery for 2.5 years. They've been doing it throughout this entire year. So it's not just the voter stuff. It's just they're fucking scumbags. That's the issue. They're run by Fannie Willis and she's fucking scum. So it's not, it has nothing to do with necessarily voting. It's just, they're all fucking scumbags at the end of the day. They're all fucking scum. You know, contemptible. Just absolute scum. All right, there. Oh, so Kat saying yes. Yeah, she'll be doing that. Did we already do the Thursday night local? Did we? Yeah, you're right. You missed it. You missed it. No, we haven't done it yet, Demons. Thank you. Okay, what do you guys got here? Let's see if you guys got any comments. Squizgar says, let's not lose sight that because of the horrendous mishandling of this, there's injustice on both sides. Yes. You know, victims of the crimes are getting fucked and the defendants are getting fucked. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. David Hoya says, when the lead attorney found out Thugger Daily was a white guy, I found that out because I was on one of Cat's streams, and yeah, he sounds like it was just like normal white guy. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I can't imagine what lead attorney's reaction was, but it had to be pretty good. J-Rock says, Max Sharp will get a better deal or try it. Oh, I'm sure. But it sounds like at this point, Shannon Stillwell and Yak Gotti do not want any, also known as Kendrick, you know, DeMonte Kendrick, don't want any deals. So there you go. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll find out. Is Clyde going to play out? Clyde never pleads out. He keeps it 10 toes down. Benjamin Lewis says, are the cans really $2 at Stoney's tonight? Yes. Yes, they are. And Sharice Washington says we'll never know who murdered Nut. Yep, they'll probably know who never murdered the guy. Because nobody's probably ever going to get charged with it. They're going to dismiss it on all these people. So, yeah. And guys, this is a preview of how bad they're going to fuck up. And that's why somebody said, who cares if it's some ghetto thug? Like, they're the people prosecuting Trump and everybody down there. They're going to fuck him over just like they fucked over Young Thug. So you should care. How's that for a reason? So why would you wear a Live Strong armband in this year? I don't know. People can do it if they want to. David Hoyt says it was Lil Woody. I believe, yeah, from what I've understand about it, Lil Woody probably was the trigger man on that. Or at least he knows. At least he knows. Let's see. So it's very important to know that, but it's good to know that the good guys got a dub today. The good guys got a win today. This was kind of interesting. I saw this, and it's just people need to chill the fuck out. And if you guys haven't seen this video, this lady's in her Uber, and this is really fucking weird. So here you go. So these girls are in an Uber, and their driver's Muslim, and he's saying a prayer or doing something. He's quietly praying to himself real quick, and it's just like, maybe you just don't do that around people because they think you might, like, I don't know, drive into a crowd of people or something. I don't know. But anyways, this lady's going to lose her shit right here. What? Yeah. She's not even saying, like, what are you doing or anything. She just starts attacking him, which really kind of makes it bad. That doesn't make it look like you're being rational and reasonable. Yeah, I'd argue that's racist. Yeah, because it doesn't look like she's like, oh my God, what are you doing? She just starts attacking him. And notice her friend's like, what the fuck? But this part is actually funny. What happens from here. If you notice the car's moving.
What the Jen!
Oh, she just smacks her head on the windshield. Oof.
Jen! What the Get him out of this. Do? Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Jen, what?
And that's why I think she's fucked, because if this person's like, I don't even know what he did. Yeah.
Jen, what?
Why do it?
What? Get him out. Why?
Notice it. You should be able to say why.
Why do you do that?
Yeah.
Jen, why the did you just do that? Why did you just do that, Jen?
I forgot to make a big screen. Sorry, chat.
Why did you just do that? What the Okay. Take your stuff. Let's go. We have to go.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Come on. We have to go.
So they called the police, and she did end up getting indicted. There's no real reason why she did this to the guy. At least I could find. I mean, remember, if she wants to argue, if she wants to try to argue, and Angela, you're right, lawsuit, but more importantly, like felony charges. Is she drunk? I guess. But the other girl doesn't seem toasted. But either way, remember, when you use self-defense or use force, you have to show you have a reasonable belief. And that it's got to be a reasonable belief of harm. Now, I would argue if you're going to start harming like pepper spraying a guy driving a car, that could almost be deadly force, because if you blind the guy driving the car, he might drive into a building. He might drive in oncoming traffic. And you notice the guy got maced and he was trying to get away from it, and the car was still in drive. Like, somebody could have got hurt really bad. So was that reasonable force? And I don't see anything that indicates that was reasonable. And she can't articulate anything that's reasonable. She's just standing there. And she's acting like a fucking loon. Hunch the Dirty Roofer for $5 over on Rumble says, thank you for the Rumble rant, by the way. He was simply asking Allah for strength for dealing with these two godless American whores. Yes, he's like, yes, please, Allah, help me deal with these women. Make me not want to drive into a building today. Give me strength. He should have fixed her, yeah. She seemed possessed. Yeah. Did the guy get a 5-star rating? And did they give him 5 stars? I don't know. The other girl seemed drunk. Yeah, I don't know if she did or not. If she was a vet, could PTSD be a defense? The problem is she's only 23, so she wouldn't have, I don't think it works. Shred Gordon says hate crime should not exist. I don't disagree with you there, but they do exist, and if you do something really fucking stupid, they're going to rack them up on you, so. Yeah. Yeah, so it's really bad there. So anyway, she's been indicted on 2 counts of assault. It's a hate crime and aggravated harassment. She got unprovoked. This is the guy she maced up. And I don't know, who knows why she did it. We don't really know at this point. There's no real answer to it. But yeah, basically it was 12:15 when she just lit him up with the mace. And he didn't speak to him. He's like, I was just driving my thing, and they were talking to each other, and all of a sudden she hits you with the pepper spray, and it says they ambushed him when he began praying in Arabic as he approached a red light. And yeah, it sounds like the guy was just praying to himself quietly, and she just fucking lights him up, as you guys saw there. He thought he was getting robbed. And you know what? If he thought he was getting robbed, thank God, I will say, for those women, especially the dumb bitch with the mace. Oh, you think I'm getting robbed. Guess what? In a lot of states might happen. Boop. She might get a fucking hole blown through her. I'm sure she probably gets her back blown out all the time, but somebody really might blow her back out permanently. So, yeah, it's just it's not good, man. I'm curious to hear what her argument is. Because I just don't see how it's going to go. Yeah. So I guess it's good for her that he wasn't armed because, do I think she committed violent assault? Yes. But I don't think it should have been a hate crime, but I think she definitely attacked him and she should get some felony charges out of it. So yes, he pulls his vest string. Yes. Clacks off his vest in the meantime, but no. Can he ask for Sharia law? Yeah, he should be able to stone her. Yeah, so guys, she's fucked. Could she argue insanity? Who knows? Now, some of you have brought up before, well, she was drunk. Okay, well, voluntary intoxication is not a defense for your actions. If she was involuntary intoxicated, sure. But that doesn't mean like, oh, I drank a beer and I didn't know how drunk it was going to get me. It's, somebody spiked my drinks, or I took medication that I wasn't aware was going to do this to me. That's how you get involuntary intoxication. So that would be a defense. But in her situation, she probably it's 12:15 at night. She probably got a little toe up, and she's going to be fucked, and rightly so. So she becomes his possession as punishment. Yeah. Yeah, she could see that. Yes. Dutch courage. Yes. Amon Reza says she was more devout than him, and she was disgusted he wasn't using a rug and properly praying. I mean, I don't think that was a call to prayer time. I think he was just doing a general prayer. So, Logical Bystander says, I will find her and marry her. Yeah. Good luck with that one, man. Wrestler Town says, I'm totally 100% on her side. Why is the religion famous for maneuvering vehicles praying at that time exactly? Because he's allowed to pray. He's allowed to fucking pray. It's not gonna work that defense ain't gonna work. I mean, if this was like 2001, she could probably get away with that. But she wasn't alive for fucking 9/11, it looks like. So I don't think it's gonna work for her. It's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly. Yes, Jabal Dunn has it right. # woman moment. Yes, and then Wrestler Town real quick says, oh no, because of her actions, a Muslim might drive a car in a crowd. That would never have happened without her interference. Well, actually, that's true. There wouldn't have been people at risk if she hadn't have intervened. So, moving on to another case in New York City. Daniel Penny. You guys remember him. He is accused of committing manslaughter against the guy on the subway, Jordan Neely, choking him out, killing him. And his trial is officially beginning. Opening arguments start tomorrow. The jury has been fully selected. It took them 2 weeks to get a jury, and that's Daniel Penny right now, getting ready to go. And the opening arguments start tomorrow. Now, here's the deal. It's New York State. We will not get to see the trial, but I wanted to keep you guys updated on what's going on because people certainly won't know. It better not be guilty. Yeah, I don't think it will be guilty. It shouldn't be guilty. I think all those people on the train car agreed that they were in fear of their safety. And ultimately, Daniel Penny wasn't really choking the guy out. The guy was kind of held in a very loose hold, and the guy was flailing around and talking and trying to do things. And more importantly, they never prosecuted the other people that helped. You know, they prosecuted the other guys for Derek Chauvin, but this guy, apparently it's different. So, not guilty on all charges. I hope so. And yeah, jury nullification would be fine too. It would be great. Cherie says, what did he do? So he's accused of putting a guy named Jordan Neely, who was on the subway car they were in, acting like a loon. And here, we'll bring it up. And if you guys haven't seen it, we'll bring this up because we do need to show something. Because it does show us what happened in the car. And let me see if this will bring it up. Yeah, here you go. This is Jordan Neely's, this is kind of his last stand. But ultimately what happened is he basically went through the subway car, making people think he was going to start killing people. Screaming like a loon, that he was very, like, he ain't afraid to go back. He ain't afraid to hurt people. And everybody on the car was terrified and, you know, acting like a crazy man. And Daniel Penny came up and subdued him. And I'm sure, I don't recall if they released his toxicology test, but I'm sure he died because he was hopped up on drugs and been living as a homeless guy for years on end. But here's the case.
Daniel Penny, the man who put Jordan Neely in.
He's in the chokehold, but notice these other guys are helping out. Why is that guy not being charged?
Police precinct to turn him.
So, you know, why is it just him? Why is it just him there? And if you guys can see, here's the video. Yeah, he's got him in a sleeper hold. Yeah, but this other guy's helping holding him down. How come he's not getting charged as an accomplice or being involved in the death? Remember, he helped, so he's liable. I mean, he's not white, and that's part of the issue. But this guy was running around threatening basically everybody on that train was in fear of their life. So, yeah. Yeah, he didn't die until he's in the hospital. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, don't get all high on drugs and act like a damn fool around people because they may think you'll hurt them. And everybody that was on that train thought they were in fear of their safety. A couple people thought he might kill someone or hurt them really bad. So, that's Daniel Penny and Jordan Neely right there. But yeah, that's why you don't do that stuff. So, but his trial is coming up. We'll find out more about that as it happens. But for now, that's kind of it. So I hope that answered your question, Charisse. Yeah, you're supposed to ignore the schizos on the train. They're props. Well, I have a feeling that jury is going to be comprised of people in Manhattan who ride the trains and the subway and don't like dealing with these people either who are crazy and out of their minds. So I'm betting he's going to get acquitted. I'm betting a lot of them have been scared when people are on the trains acting dangerous or violent. So, like I said, I bet he gets acquitted, or at the very least a hung jury. It could be that he was the one who had him in the headlock. Sure, I don't disagree, but the other guy was holding him down and restraining him. So under that theory of liability, you're all equally guilty. And another guy's got his hands on him. I mean, this is George Floyd. Every officer involved got jammed up, but here they're only going after Daniel Penny. So, which I don't think is fair. So, yeah. I take it good. Says, will no contest be viable or an activist judge? And no. If he pleads no here's the thing: when you plead no contest, you're generally consenting to a finding of guilt, because you'd have to basically have the judge say, because with a no contest plea, You let the judge make a determination whether or not you broke the law. Now, when I worked as a public defender, there were a couple times where somebody got picked up for basically contempt of cop. Disorderly conduct is a bullshit charge. And you tell the guy, hey, man, plead no contest. We'll probably get this tossed. And you'd plead no contest. The judge opens up the file, and he's looking at it, and he says, Your Honor, we plead no contest, and we consent to you finding us guilty if you determine so. And he would look at it and go, yeah, not guilty. This doesn't meet the requirements of a crime. And he'd throw it out. On this, no. That will never happen. That will not happen. Focus. Come on. There we go. That's never going to happen. That would never happen. I plead no contest. Go to jail for 25 years. That's what would happen. So no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Yeah. So there's no way. Plead the fifth says when they just find no probable cause instead. Oh no, there's very much probable cause. Probable cause, remember guys, is like 25% sure. It's kind of likely, probable. Is it probable that Daniel Penny caused Jordan Neely's death? Oh, I'm pretty fucking sure there's probable cause there. I mean, look at that. That's pretty damn sure. There's no question about that. There's no question about that at all. But does Daniel Penny have a defense, like self-defense or defense of others? Yes. So there's 100% probable cause there. Because there's no denying it. He's not claiming he didn't do it. He's claiming he did it because people were in danger. So, J-Rock says the dude should have walked away. There was nowhere to go. There wasn't really anywhere to go. So, yeah. Oh, you mean in my, you mean your pleading no contest example? No, because of your chat, like, it didn't work that way when we were dealing with them, and that took care of it. Like, and you could tell right away, like, those were the massively defective ones. And the prosecutor thought there was probable cause because the officer said so. So we would challenge them, and, usually we'd win those. But those happened like once every 6 months, something like that would happen. So not very common, not very common. J-Rock says, why be a sheepdog? Oh, I get it. But you know what? People are going to do it. People are going to do it. But Daniel Penny's a good reason why mind your own business, because it's not worth getting, it's not worth, people aren't getting help or give a shit what you do. So, yeah. Sheree says, I agree that if he's going to get charged, those two should have been charged. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, those guys were acting in defense of others. So, they used the least amount of force necessary to stop the man who they thought was going to fucking hurt everybody. So I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for him. Like, that's why you don't go do drugs and be crazy on a train. People might get scared and fear for their life. I think they have valid arguments of self-defense. So, but we can agree to disagree. Do they even believe in self-defense in New York? Yes, they do. Garrett says, you aren't sealed in a train car. I understand that, but you might have to go past him. If you're in one part of the train and you're trying to leave, like, he's right there. You might have to get up and walk past the guy. So it's not always that easy. Like, you got to get up and walk past the guy you're worried might have a knife and try to stab you. And, can you go the other direction? Are the other cars full? Can you get out of that car? Are you in the end car? I don't know the whole situation there. But you shouldn't, remember, you don't have it in New York. There's no duty to retreat in this situation. This guy is being violent and belligerent. Like, where the fuck do you go? You might not be able to. So, something to think about. And then moving on, guys, the last thing tonight, getting us ready for the election cycle. There is some funny business out in... there's some interesting stuff. There's some funny business out in Pennsylvania. It looks like it's down in part of Amish country, so we don't really know what's going on there. But there he is, the Emperor Mankind, doing his dance. So there are some investigations in Pennsylvania into 3 separate counties about voter registration applications. And the reason why I said Amish country is because Lancaster County, that's where like the big Amish hub is down there. And these are counties nearby, I believe, that have similar, there's Amish populations involved. So what happened? Well, they said they're examining about 2,500 forms, and that's just to start. And while they were checking them, they found like 30 irregular forms in another county. And what happened? Well, they were delivered as a large delivery containing thousands of election materials they received from a third-party organization. So this is what happened. This is what happened. I mean, this is kind of one of the issues why I don't like all the ballot harvesting and vote getting, because this turns into a big freaking mess. You know, a big box of votes shows up, and you know what happened? Well, that this group called the Field and Media Corps said they were acting on behalf of the Everybody Votes campaign. So, what did they do? Well, they said they're going to work with the locals to fix any discrepancies. But yeah, like they basically show up and dump all their like they're like, here you go, here's a bunch of votes. Well, that's part of the problem. That part of it makes it sus. So there are issues there. As far as it's concerned and what happens. Now, obviously, both sides have taken their comments on this, and it's not clear. Now, there is a theory that this is a lot of Amish people registering to vote, and the Amish are registering to vote probably pro-Trump. We're not sure, but that's the thought, is that there's a lot of Amish voting, and the Amish don't really have personal documents, and the Amish generally refrain from voting in the Englishes. They don't normally get involved in English business. So, yeah, we won't know, but there's 2,500 forms that are segregated, but it's not said how many of them are problematic, and there might be more. So who knows? We don't really know. But Trump has already said they started cheating in Lancaster. They've cheated. We caught them with 2,600 votes. We caught them cold, which they might have. We'll find out. But, it's just a complete fucking mess. It's already starting, chat. So this election, oh boy, it's only going to get worse from here, chat. It's only going to get worse from here. Oh, okay. Cherie says, I hope everyone understands you have to be a citizen to vote. Yes. Only citizens can vote, except for that Chinese guy up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, who cast a ballot we covered earlier this week. And because they can't figure out where it is, he voted electronically, and his vote got tabulated. It's gone, and it probably counts because we had the secret ballot. So, whoops-a-doodle. So we will see what happens, guys. I know people have asked me, are we going to do an election show? Yes, we're probably going to go live about 9 o'clock. That's when everything's going to really start rolling in hot and heavy. I know a couple of people have asked me to be on their shows. And, you know, on election night, Sitch and Adam have asked me if I'd stop by. I definitely will be. David on MLS Law Show, he's asked if I'd stop by. I'll stop by there. Worski and PPP are doing a show for election night on the casino. So we'll be stopping by everywhere, chat. And then we'll be doing our show probably about 9:30, having some fun there. So we will find out what that is. Kay says, why don't we be subjected to electronic voting? Why can't we fix ourselves? I don't know, but I will say it was very funny for me today. I went and voted. And I've received, in Ohio, they sent out mail-in ballots, and I got my mail-in ballot. I wasn't going to do it. Came to my house. Cool. It's the same house I've lived in for a couple of years now. It's actually, and I checked for my address online. It's the same address. Cool. I'm registered to vote. I go in today. And I walk through and they give me my stuff and they swipe my ID and they're like, they gave me this little red card. It says voter assistance needed. And I'm like, it's this big, like it's this card the size of like, I don't know. I felt like it was kind of like a half a sheet of paper and it's bigger. And I'm like, gosh, like I'm the only person standing there with this. I'm like, I feel like a fucking retard. I have to go see the teachers. And they said, oh, yes, sir, can you go into the quiet area over here? And I'm like, uh-oh. So I walk up there and I'm like, I guess I'm in trouble. And they start looking at my ballots and they start looking at my things. And they're like, well, we have you down as like living in, there's like an address like a half a mile, almost a mile away from where I'm at on a different road. And I'm like, I've never lived there. Like, have you moved? And I'm like, not since 2021. They're like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm 100% sure. My address, my driver's license, that hasn't changed. And they were checking that. And they're like, yeah, you haven't changed it. And they said your mail-in ballot went to your address. And I said, yeah, so what's the deal? And they're like, sounds like the post office fucked up. I'm like, whatever, because apparently I didn't update my address, so I had to vote provisionally. So I got to cast a paper ballot. Now, I live in a very Republican county, so it, whether I wanted to vote one way or another doesn't matter, and Ohio's going to go for Trump, so it didn't really matter either. My vote gets counted or not. But it was funny because I was like, oh, I could vote, be in and out in 5 minutes. And it took me like 50 minutes to vote because then they did all that. And then they had to sit there and put together the provisional ballot for me and all their paperwork on it. And I was just like, the poll people were super cool. The poll workers were really nice. It's just whatever happened in the system kind of sucked. I was like, that wasn't impressive. So anyways, I know, bros, that was the coolest story, but it's the coolest story because I told you. I saved it for you. Oh. James Beaver says, I voted today in Ohio. Cool. Yes, I got the TARD card. Yes, they recognize my TISM. Cherie says, I'm praying for everyone's safety just in case. And you know what? I think that's nothing wrong with that. I hope everybody's safe. You guys vote. Remember, go vote. Just obviously, you guys can probably tell who I like, who I'm supporting. Go vote anyway. Okay? Vote. Get involved in your local politics. Remember, guys, you can shape things at your local level, and that's the biggest place you'll have an impact. Like we talk about all this crap you see on these cases we deal with, things we cover. Local prosecutors, local judges, local county officials, they're critical. Your city councils, your mayors, your city managers, your dog catchers, your soil and water conservation districts. Those are all that. Stay on top of those things. Vote, participate. This is, other than jury duty, this is one of the ways as a citizen you get to get your hands dirty with government. That doesn't result you going to federal prison. So do it. Vote. Exercise your rights, guys. Vote Clyde for mayor. Well, that's between us, but I did not vote for Clyde. No. Okay. All right. Yes. And go buy a gun. Yeah. Buy a gun too. Or print a gun. You can do that too. You can print a gun. Hold on. Yes. Buy a hat for your gun. Help out PPP as well. Oh, Jürgen Schneider saying PPP wants streamers to show their starfishes on election night. Yeah, I ain't doing that. Oh, Real Clear Squizguard is saying check Real Clear Politics. Yes, I did see, guys. Apparently, looks like Trump is pulling ahead. Yeah, yep. And then Johan Knoxos. We got a couple more chats here, guys. Saying I learned something today. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan was traded for Toledo, Ohio. Yes, the Toledo Strip was given to Ohio, and Michigan was then given as a consolation prize. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan. That was initially part of the Wisconsin territory. Yep. Hero for $5 says, Cook County Jail in Illinois, home of the Glock Dookie. Yes. All right, chat. So that is it. We are all set for tonight. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Halloween again, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Remember, it's fall back this week. So, hey, you get an extra hour of sleep. What's not to love? There's Formula One this weekend. All kinds of stuff. We'll be doing stuff tomorrow night, guys. Saturday night, probably not, depending on I've got plans. Got family stuff going on, so maybe not. But definitely stuff on Sunday. And I want to thank everybody that's here. YouTube, Twitch, Rumble. Thank you guys over on Rumble. Mofolk, thank you for being here. Hunch over there. Job well done. And who else is over there still? Thank you guys. And all you guys over here on YouTube. Guys, your chats, it's great because otherwise I'm just talking to myself. And also, but yeah, thank you guys. Your super chats, your membership purchase. I appreciate all of that. Steven, once again, thank you for that monster, the monster membership or Mystery Sniper. Thank you for your monster drop earlier. That is impressive. I appreciate that very, very much. And yeah, guys, remember until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. But if you plea out, Yeah, you kind of are guilty. So, anyways, Young Thug, glad you're getting out, buddy. Hope you enjoy it. Make some cool music. Shannon Stillwell and Yak Gotti, guys, good luck. Crush it. Richard Allen, good luck. Daniel Penny, good luck. Good luck to everybody out there going to trial. And I will see you guys later. We will be on Locals right afterwards. So until then, guys, take care, everybody. And good night.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fact